The woman developed acute appendicitis, and the doctor performed surgery on her. Yet when she awoke, she found her incision had already healed, and her hands were bound. Just then, a doctor entered and unlocked Becca's restraints. She asked him where she was, and how long she had been unconscious. The doctor offered no answer, merely handing her a cup of medicine and instructing her to drink it and rest. Finding the place eerie, Becca pushed the doctor aside and fled. She screamed for help, only to see two nurses slowly approaching. Realizing danger, she shoved open a nearby ward door and cried out to those inside.
You must be Nora.
The nurses caught her, forcibly injected her with a needle, and locked her in a ward. The doctor warned her not to struggle, saying no one would find her. After the doctor left, Becca heard a blood-curdling scream. She went to the door and saw an old man whose eyes had been gouged out. Terrified, she wondered what kind of place this was. Then, a note was slipped through the crack in the door, asking her name. Next, a pen was passed over. Becca wrote back, "Which hospital is this?" The reply came, "This isn't a hospital at all." Soon after, waves of agonized screams echoed from the adjacent room. After sleeping, the doctor returned to Becca's room, asking if she had any regrets about her past and urging her to answer honestly. Becca angrily denied it, saying she just wanted to go home. The doctor then led her to an examination room, strapped monitoring equipment onto her, and introduced the bald man, the one who'd slipped her the note. Becca demanded to know what had happened yesterday.
They cut out my tongue.
And now you're talking to me.
It grew back.
The bald woman beside her revealed this was a laboratory where she'd been burned alive multiple times only to be revived. The man next to her suffered worse, his genitals repeatedly cut off and regrown. Stunned, Becca wondered, was this a mental hospital or a brutal laboratory? Suddenly, an alarm blared, and everyone was herded back to their wards. Peering through her window, Becca watched as the man was forcibly dragged away. Then the bald man from next door reappeared in her room. He told her not to worry. In 3 months, she could leave. That's what the doctor had told her. He warned her never to wander the corridors. If caught, she'd be dragged off for experiments. Just then, the man's lower body, drenched in blood, was carried back. Becca couldn't understand. Why didn't they try to escape? The bald man shook his head. There was no exit. Becca refused to believe it. She ventured down a corridor that felt eerily endless. Suddenly, the doctor called her over and led her into his office. He produced a photograph, asking about the man in it. In exchange, he offered to let Becca make a phone call. Becca revealed the man was her ex-boyfriend. They'd lived together for months before breaking up, after which he'd inexplicably committed suicide. After sharing this, she rushed to grab the phone only to find no phone line. Clearly, she'd been tricked. Returning to the ward, a familiar silhouette flashed past the door. Becca hurried after it, only to discover it was her ex-boyfriend, who had hanged himself 10 years prior. Stepping into his room, Becca froze in horror. Before her eyes stood his piano, alongside the noose he'd fashioned from its strings. Terrified, she stumbled backward only to be spotted by a patrolling doctor, who forcibly restrained her on the operating table.